Hello, everybody. My name is Sharon C. Jenkins, and I am the master communicator. And I want to welcome you to the Luminance show. Guess what? We love shedding light on people who are doing great things in the community, in their region, in their world, in their nation. So it is our privilege to bring to you today my friend, apostle prophetess, Marina Coryat. I love her. I love her energy. I love her love for God. I love everything that she is. And she gave me the opportunity to share her book production journey. And so I'm celebrating her today because if you need a due season, you need this book. A lot of things have happened in 2020 that have pulled us off course. And some of us are fighting with everything that we have to get back on the road that God would have for us to walk on in 2021. So, my friend, prophetess, beautiful, sensational, amazing Marina Coryat is here with a message for you about being in your due season. And I believe that that season is now. Welcome, Marina.
Thank you for having me, Sharon. I love you. Thank you so much. My literary midwife helped me birth this due season book. Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about your why for writing this book because you were preaching somewhere and thus said the Lord. Talk a little bit about what happened.
Yeah, so for me, let me tell you, I was just going to visit a church for New Year's Eve. In fact, the Lord prompted me to get up because, we can do virtual online church. And so I said, okay. So I went to visit a friend's church. So close to midnight, I'm arriving at the church just to be able to turn over with watch night. And at that point, the man of God was already ministering and he had already received the words. But I had asked the Lord, just in case I'm called on, and because I'm not really pushing, I was on sabbatical. I said, I'm not, just in case I get called on, Lord, what is the word of the Lord? If give me a message, something that I need to say just in case I get called on. And like I said, I'm not trying to push myself to the forefront. And so what happened is that I told him that he was already in a flow. So afterwards, I said, the word of the Lord for 2021 that I received was his due time. That was the DUE time. It was due time and due time. And that so it was DUE, DEW, and DO. And when I spoke to Apostle Irvin, he said, there's oil on that. And I said, oh, okay, well, great. You got the word. And so he said, well, we're still receiving the word. And I'd love for you to come and release it. I said, well, I'm on sabbatical. And he looked at me like, I know she didn't just say I'm on sabbatical, but he looked at me in a kind of way. And I said, okay, well, maybe since I'm on sabbaticals, because I actually belong to a local church here in Houston. And I said, well, since I'm not leading the 12 o'clock noon prayer, I guess I can come on and the prayer team that I can come on over and be there with you and deliver the word. So on the 5th of January, earlier this year, I delivered the word and God gave so much, even more so that I had to put this and capsulize it in this book. And it's the due season. And even when I was ministering it, I said, this is so much, it has to go in a book. And so that's how that was the beginning of it. But it was not my intention. My intention was not to write a book. Actually, it wasn't to write the due season because I was already writing another book. And so God interrupted my plans, or what I said was my plans, to deliver his plan, because he has the people of God, the people who are out there, so much on his mind that he would interrupt one thing to make another thing happen. That's how much he loves you so much. And this is a word of encouragement, inspiration, instructions, revelation, declarations in the book, The Due Season.
So, talk to me a little bit about your writing process, because a lot of pastors, a lot of preachers, a lot of evangelists, a lot of prophetess or prophets, let's not leave them out. They have a word from the Lord, they deliver it, and then they're off to do the next thing. What made this such an important message for this season that you had to interrupt your life and put this word on paper?
You just know, I think for me, I knew that this was not just an ordinary word. When I got this word, it was so profound to me. And I knew I had to download it. And I knew it was not just for, I mean, it's just a knowing. And it was just not for just one day or one church. It was for multitudes of people to receive the word that the Lord has to say. And so, he will direct you. And like I said, I wouldn't have shifted if I didn't have to, because, I have a whole lot to do anyway on my schedule. So the last thing on my schedule is to turn around and do a new book. At that particular time, I had just gotten in a car accident. I work a job. I have, we had coronavirus. I work for the chair of the public health committee. So, I was busy. We're in the midst of election. So, I mean, this wasn't the time. But let me tell you, when it's God's time, he will rearrange things. And so I had to really put some pressure on myself to be obedient. And just as the word says, he said it was due time, the DO time. So I had to stop what I was doing and do what the Lord said to do.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, talk about your process. You got the word, the Lord downloaded the word in you. How do you take that word that is downloaded in you and put it on paper?
That's really good. Now, I started with it. I started with my notes on paper when the Lord gave me the word. And then as I was preparing to minister the word, he downloaded more information. And I wanted to and if you have a tape or something like that, you can transcribe it, or a video, or, you can transcribe what the Lord gave you. And there are many, different, things that you can do through the technology. However, with the coronavirus, I could not get the video of this. And because people were not in churches, and so I didn't have access to that. And so I just had to do the best that I could to recapture that. But the beautiful thing about the Lord is that he added to the word. He added to what he already had given to me. It wasn't a takeaway, because I kept feeling like it was going to be a takeaway, that I missed my moment of securing the video. But he was actually saying, you know what, daughter, I'm going to give you more, because you are so faithful to get this word out here. And so he started downloading more information. And so we put the ebook out. So I would just say to authors and other people, prophets and pastors and whoever have a word, and that you believe that the Lord wants you to put that in a book, start writing it down. And you know what? It's a step-by-step process. I have a lot of respect now for authors that I really might not have had before. I just thought it was easy. It is a process. And let me tell you, Sharon, you don't have your name literary midwife for no reason. Not you have that title because you literally helped me push this book out. And there were times that I wanted to just say, it is just too much, because there was so much going on with the pandemic, and just just trying to get the video and trying to sit still to hear everything, and then even just all the different processes with it. It's a lot. And so there are things that may come. If you have a word from the Lord, don't think that it just comes out, especially when it comes in book form, because that is legacy. When you put something in a book, that becomes legacy, not just for yourself and your immediate family, but for generations and countries and places that you might not have ever even put your foot in. And so don't think that that it does not come without some warfare. And I have to tell you, if you name a book the due season, little did I know there was warfare that came with it. And so I'm just grateful that it finally came out. And the Lord added to the book, as I mentioned, with adding the epilogue at the end when we came to the print version. So you can do an ebook, and that's easy, easier to upload and get that out. But then when you come to the published, the actual in print version, there are there are additional steps that you have to go through. And that's why it's so great to have a literary midwife like you to help push me through. And because I would have not known, I've done PR, public relations for years. There's a difference between marketing in general and marketing a book. And I'm still learning that process. And it is a glorious one, because when I get through this, I'm going to be able to have a whole new arm of my business to be able to market authors. So it's been an incredible journey.
So, one of the things that I would like to share with our viewing audience is a necessity. I'm on this literary evangelist track now, because the reason why I think it's key and important, and you're a prime example of what God is saying to ministers and to evangelists and to preachers and teachers and apostles. He's saying, you're in the midst of a pandemic, but that does not release you from your assignment. You have to get the word out to the people. Guess what he's using? He's using your pen. Now is the time for you to model the prophets and teachers and apostles in the Bible. The book of books is still speaking life in the earth, and people are hungry. They are so hungry for a reason to explain what's happening in the earth. They are hungry because they're hurting. They're hungry because they don't know what their next move is. So that's when the people of God, those who are totally sold out, those who are on purpose, those who are mission focused, those who have a calling upon their life to evangelize the world and to fulfill the Great Commission and to answer the Macedonia call. Now it's time for you to switch because of the season that we are in. Pick up your pen and tell the world about the Jesus that you love. And kudos to you for doing that, Marina. Kudos. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, this book project became an entity. Tell us about your revelation that you got, that this book project was a lot bigger than what you thought it was.
Oh, wow. This book it's been a snowball effect, I guess, from the beginning. From one, the word of the Lord opened the door that I really wasn't even trying to walk in. To start, ministering the word, and this particular word, in fact, about the due season. And sometimes as prophets, he'll have us to repeat words because he really wants us to reach different audiences and reach people and make sure that they're grabbing hold of it. So this started to escalate. So doors have opened for me to speak different places. I come in the private sector. You and me, we were both on radio stations together. I've held my own TV show when I worked in previous years, and so it's just been an interesting aspect of it that this book has opened doors. And the thing is that for those of you all who are looking at being an author, that's a potential for you too. When you go into minister somewhere, that you have a book that is a leave behind, that people can have. And it also is your calling card. Rather than having a business card, this is your business card. It has your contact information. It's something that people rarely throw away books. They may give it away, but a lot of times they don't throw away books. And so people will hold on to it longer than maybe an average business card. But it has been amazing. So I've done the To Do Season series. So on Thursday nights at 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I've been talking about the due season and different aspects of the book. The book, the DUE, is about things that are past due. And it's a beautiful word that the Lord has given, and I've been sharing about that. He also has talked about the DEW and the dew, like the dew from heaven, like the dew, like dew on the grass. And there was so much revelation that came with that I never knew about the DEW, and that's in the book. Because dew is safety, dew is abundance, dew is protection. There's so many dew. It's just a whole process. I mean, it was so many things, but dew is also representative creative miracles. And so even in that was something that was in there. Even as like just the manna from heaven, and that transformed into that came and fell down. It came down like dew, but then was transformed into manna. I mean, it was just so many things that are associated with that. And so that's one of the things that the Lord is saying, that even though there are a lot of things that are going on, and this is a book of prophetic word, and so that even as we are in the season, there's dew, the DO. So he was just downloading so much information. And I just want to encourage people to just do what the Lord says to do in the season. If the Lord has told you, because I knew for years, Sharon, and because we're friends a long time, that the Lord has wanted me to write a book. And, I have to, it's taken me a long time. In fact, the book that I was working on, is still in the process, and it's going to come out. I believe that he didn't give me that word for it to be, to not come out. But when the Lord tells you to do something, and he said in this book, in his word, he said there will be time to do things that you didn't have time to do. And so this is how this book came out. I didn't really have the time because, like I said, I was in the midst of everything else going on, but he dropped it so strong, I had to write it down and get it out.
So one of the things that I'm reminded of, you're a busy lady in the pandemic and out of the pandemic. So you're just as busy in the midst of the pandemic than you are out of the pandemic. But there are people out there who are not, who are stationary, the pastors whose churches, they haven't been able to open the doors because of the pandemic. So there are things and times and places and due seasons for certain things to happen in the earth. And one of the things that just came to my mind was Paul. Remember Paul when he was in prison? That is when he did the greatest literary work. He wrote over 3/4 of the New Testament, all while he was in captivity. Well, some of us may think that we're in captivity because we are doing the safe thing, because we love people. So, in the midst of that, ask God, what is it that He would have you to do? Because your giftings and your callings are without repentance. You're still on the clock, you're still on that Holy Ghost clock, and He is still requiring you to fulfill the call He has on your life. And it's up to us. I've had to do it, to ask God, how in this season, how do I fulfill the call that God has on my life in this season? And that's where the literary evangelist was birthed. And there'll be more coming about that. But let's talk about the due season.
But I
So
have to say that you just stirred up something. You just stirred up the pot, Sharon, with that, because I'm so proud of you. Because in the midst of the due season, in the midst of this time where the pandemic, everything, you stepped out on faith and you did a conference, and you stepped out of your comfort zone to help and train people who want to be authors, who want to learn more aspects about marketing, of your book. I mean, a whole plethora of things that you had, and it's amazing. And I know that that was just the beginning. That was just the beginning of what is to come, and that there are more doors that are going to open for you to share, because there are books and people. And Dr. Miles Monroe said, the richest place is a graveyard. You need to die empty, where you don't have anything in you, where all the books and all the movies and your blogs and whatever it is that the Lord has for you to produce and create, that's what needs to come out. So, Sharon, I believe that this is a time that people will pick up the pen, that they will explore. This is a time where, we have an aspect of time, where you can come out of your comfort zone and say, you know what, I'm going to try to blog, maybe not a book, but maybe I'll do a Facebook, or maybe I'll do, pick up, guitar lessons or something that you've always wanted to do. This is the time. This is the due season. And there is, and for so many of you, there is also a past due, because the Lord has been telling you to do something. But that this is, God has suspended time just for you. And I'm not saying that he caused the pandemic, but he knew what was going to happen. And let me tell you, in the book, the Lord shared that with me, that there would be time to do, even when I gave the word, there would be time to do things that we didn't have to do. And I was asking the Lord, I was like, well, how is this going to happen? I didn't get the answer, but he said that. So he already knew what was coming down the line. So it's up for us to take advantage of it.
I agree wholeheartedly. I do. Another thing that I'm amazed at is, once the book was done, it was like the floodgates opened and opportunities started coming your way. I'm telling you, obedience is better than sacrifice, because God just made some wonderful things happen for you. And I am even, I'm sitting back in my chair watching stuff happen on social media, and I am totally amazed. I want to personally thank you for your obedience. And I want to personally ask God to not just give you that pressed down, shaken together blessing, but to just expand your ministry. Tell them a little bit about Sunrise.
Well, thank you for sharing, Ann. Thank you so much. Sunrise is a ministry that the Lord gave me the name to many, many years ago. And like I said, I was like, I've been in the background supporting different pastors and leaders for years. Really didn't even, I just put it on the back burner. But in 2018, he called me to start the ministry. And so in September, so in 2018, we birthed Sunrise International Ministries, and we started off as a 501c3 and kicked off a conference called Prayer, Praise, and Pursuit, where we had some awesome speakers come in and really help kick off this ministry. And we're based on Malachi 4:2. It's but those who fear the Lord, there's a son of righteousness shall arise with healing in its wings. So we're a ministry of encouragement, healing, deliverance. And so we are excited about what Lord is doing. You're taking our steps. We're not trying to outdo anybody. We just want to do what the Lord has called us to do. So if we can do our portion of that and be the hand, or be the finger, or what have you, that's all that we want to do. We want to bless people. We want, when I say that, we want people to become saved. We want your families to be set free. We want you to be encouraged. And so during this time of the pandemic, the Lord put in my spirit and for our team that we would come forth on social media. I started with, and the direct word of the Lord to me was to read the Psalm. So for 40 days, read Psalm 91, and the Psalm of the day. And what happened was the Lord gave me specific instructions. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And so the word for me was to read it. Don't try to expound upon it. Let people be encouraged that they would go and pick up their Bible and want to know more. And so we started off with that. And then he gave me a reprieve for during that period. And then we came back out with the due season series where we broke up different aspects of the due season. I would encourage, if you all who are out there, if you would go to, I have just now started, downloading a lot of my videos onto YouTube. If you would go to the YouTube, and you can catch some of the due season series. I've been trying to get most of those on to the YouTube. So it's at Marina Coryat, and you'll find a lot of the rebroadcast or the broadcast there.
So, Marina, tell us what we can expect from you and your ministry in 2021.
Wow, I have to say that God is already doing things. I still have speaking engagements that are coming up this year. I have one at the beginning of the year, which was, interestingly enough, in the pursuit of Jesus. So I was invited to be on a virtual platform, and so interestingly enough, it's about pursuit, and that's a big thing for me, because I want to see people pursue their dreams and goal. That's a passion for me. We're going to be coming on our 3rd year anniversary, so I'm hoping that there'll be something that we'll do along those lines. I don't know if it's going to be the traditional gathering or conference, maybe something totally different. But I don't want to spread too much, because, like I said, we have some things in the works, and like I said, we want to focus on some other aspects of reaching the community, really helping people who are hurt. And so, like I said, I have a whole vision plan, a whole blueprint. In fact, I did that this week, and and this is the time where I refine. We take what it is that the Lord has, but I do want to share that when the Lord gives you something to do it. But not only this, but in this hour, the Lord told me that He wanted us to be nimble. And so that means that we have to be able to be flexible, nimble, to like you that we can jump, or we can do when He wants us to do. You remember Jack, be nimble, Jack, be quick. Jack
Oh,
tripped over the
yes.
candlestick. So He
Yes.
wants us to be nimble in this time. And so, like I said, so I don't have our framework for 2021 so rigid that we can't move. And let me tell you, after this experience this year, I realized this is that when the Lord wants something to be done, I better shift and I better move. And so if the Lord is calling you to do, align yourself. And what I also want to say is that times of preparation are never wasted. So you think that, okay, I jotted down a word. It may start with a word. Did you write one word? The Lord gives you one word a day. Start journaling that one word a day. If He says, today is a day of obedience, and then He gives you something, obedience is better than sacrifice, and you journal that. Maybe the next day He'll say, your health is so important to me, and write down what it is. There's just different things that He's going to start giving you instructions and what to do and to download. And I'm becoming more sensitive, even though we flow prophetically. A lot of times, one of the things is to hear the word, but also to do the word. And so my desire for 2021 is to not just be a hearer of the word, but to be a doer of the word. It began in 2020, but I really encourage, and for those who are listening, to really be a doer of the word of the Lord. And for me,
Wow.
that's what I'm doing. I wrote down the blueprint. I wrote it down. That's the start. Habakkuk talks about write the vision and make it plain. That's what I'm doing. I've already done it, and I'm getting more downloads so that he can add the increase.
Wow. Wow. Well, we want to thank you for being on Luminous today, but we also want people to run, not walk, run and get this wonderful new book. Can you tell them where they can get it at?
Yes, they can get it on Amazon, and they can also during the season. I'll open it up where you can get it from us, from sunarise.org. You can reach out. You can write me there, sunarise.org, or you can, like I said, go to Amazon. It'll be shipped straight to you. And if you order from us, I'll go ahead and autograph it in the season. Because like I said, this is the due season. I'm also in school. And so I wasn't anticipating going back to school, but the Lord unctioned me and really dropped in my spirit to go back to school. So when I say I have a very full plate between work, school, ministry, I mean I have a full plate, but I want it when, like I said, do it. And like I said, this is such an encouraging word to me. It's an easy read. So Amazon.com, or you can reach us at sunrise.org. We also have t-shirts too. I just want to share that. That's on our website. I don't know if you could see it. And it has
Oh,
the do,
nice.
which has the
I
do
want
and
one. I want one.
yay. Okay, I got you. I got you. You're my literary midwife. I got you. So we have that. And like I said, it shows, and I've been talking about the do. But the fourth do I didn't mention in our interview was the DEUX. And the Lord added to the word, and he said that it was due season. And it is a season of double. It is a season, and so 2020 began the year. So don't think that the book is not relevant. He said that this is the word began in 2020. So it was a setup for what is coming in the years to come. So it is still a relevant word. And even as I'm on Facebook and other places, I'm hearing people who are starting to talk about the due season. And I know it's in the Bible and it's nothing new under the sun, but at such a time as this, I'm hearing this word coming forth in different strong prophetic voices. But I know that the Lord gave me this at the beginning of the year, and I'm encouraged every time I hear one of the other ministers, other pastors, leaders talking about due time, due season, appointed time, set time. And that's some of the things that are already in this book, that the Lord said that there was a set time to favor Zion. This is a set time. This is a preparation time. So don't be discouraged in the pandemic, but come forth and let the Lord really minister to you. And this is a time I really believe that and I heard a word, and I think it was Jennifer LeClaire. I'm not sure who it was, but it was an unprecedented miracles time. But the thing is it aligns in the things that the Lord said about the due season, the double contracts, double redemption. And in 2020, 20 is the number of redemption. So even that this is the beginning of a decade, 2021, 2020, 2021, 20. I mean, so we come from vision, and then we're coming to where we need to speak it. But I also believe that this is a time for us to write it. And so no better time than the now time to do what God called us to do. Write those books, write those blogs, write those plays, write the songs, write the recipes, and invite us to come and eat it, right? So come on and do what God called you to do. Thank you so much for having me. Remember, Amazon.com.
Thank you, Marina, for being on our show today. We really appreciate you. And, listeners and viewers, let me say this. We are in the season of love. When the holiday season comes, people are kinder and they are more loving and they are more reflective. And so take advantage of this time to reconnect. If you've disconnected from God, reconnect with God, reconnect with the people that you love, and reconnect your vision and your purpose in preparation for 2021. I want to say thank you, Marina, again, but I also want to thank my listeners. When uh, when I started this journey, it was something that God prompted me to do, to come and pick back up the mic. No matter what I do, I can't seem to put this mic down. So, so for the glory of God, I will keep this mic in my hand, and you're going to see more stuff happening in the new year with my podcast. Well, God bless you and keep you, and remember, there ain't nothing you could do about it because I love you with a fierce love. Have a great holiday season. Bye bye.